Okay, Rabban Gamliel Hayaomer. So he used to say, Ase l'charav, v'istalik min hasafek, v'al tarbe la'aser umadot. So this is Mishnah 16. So Hu Hayaomer, he used to say, make for yourself a rav. So now we already saw Ase l'charav. Right? We already saw the Mishnah a few Mishnah ago. It says, how do you deal with good people? Make a teacher, buy a friend, judge people favorably. So what do you need Ase l'charav again for? So this is going to be Ase l'charav with a slightly different emphasis. Right? The one we saw before is you need a mentor, you need a teacher. So here he's very specific. He says, Ase l'charav, make it for yourself a teacher, v'istalik min hasafek, and separate yourself from doubt. So here, it's all about clarity. What do you need a Rav for? He's talking about have a Rav so you understand. This is Torah. How do I understand what my life is about? How do I understand what my interactions with other people should be? How do I understand how to serve God? This is, what am I? What's my job here? He says, don't figure it out on yourself. Remove yourself from doubt. Ba'al tarbe la'aser umadot. So that you don't give too much meiser. So you might think, see, really, the first pass reading is you would think that that should say, so you don't give too little meiser. Right. It's an unusual Mishnah, right? The Mishnah you would think should read, make a Rav, remove yourself from doubt, so that you don't give too little meiser, so that you don't fail in your obligations. So why does it go the opposite? So
to attract the reader a little bit?
Even better. It says, if it said, make a Rav, remove yourself from doubt so you don't give too little meiser, you would think that the problem he's getting at is giving too little meiser. That's not the issue. Right? The issue here is it's not a question. Right? There's a separate problem. There's a problem of I have a chiyuv, an obligation to do something, to give meiser, and I'm going to blow it. I'm not going to meet my obligation. That's a problem. This is a separate problem. He says, I don't even want you to give too much meiser, right? There's nothing wrong with giving too much meiser. There is a problem with giving too much meiser because you have doubts, because you don't know, because you're clueless. He said, we are an obligation-driven people. We are a clarity-driven people, right? If you have the opportunity to daven, right, you open up a siddur and daven. Right? So what's the first thing you daven for? Right? Tefillah, right? Lahit palel means you're focusing on what's important. Right? You walk before Hashem 3 times a day and you say, hi boss, I'm here. Right? You're the God of Abraham, you're the God of my fathers, you're the God who created the universe. You start with, who am I talking to? And you finish with expressions of gratitude. Right? That's Shemona Esrei. Whether it's Rosh Hashanah morning or Yom Kippur or Ne'ilah or Tuesday morning or Shabbos, you always start with the same brachas. Because God's always God, right? He doesn't change. So therefore, the initial brachas, which are who am I talking to, never change. You should always have a chorus of tov. You should always thank Him. So the brachas, the leave taking from Hashem is always the same. But the middle brachas change day by day. Because what you should be focused on Yom Kippur Ne'ilah is radically different than what you're focused on Shabbos, and it's radically different than what you're focused on a Tuesday morning during the year. Make sense? So the middle brachas change. So what's the first thing a person davens for? Atah chonein la'adam das u'lamid le'enesh bina. Clarity. Right? I will tell you, it is far better to be ill than stupid. Right? Ill than confused. Right? Better to, whatever it's going to be, if it's what it takes to get you to clarity, you want to be clear. We have one thing to daven. You don't daven for health. You daven for, please God, let me understand what life is about. Let me understand what my obligations are. Let me understand what the pathways through life are. That's what we daven for. So Rabban Gamliel comes back and he follows up on these Mishnayot. Hillel gives you 3 separate paths for the 3 bases. Right? Shammai gives you 3 separate paths for the 3 bases. Gamliel is even straighter. He doesn't even touch them separately. He says, you want to do Torah, Uvoda, Ugemilas Hasadim? Get a Rav. Get clarity. So you don't give too much. So you give too much. The reason he says it that way is because he doesn't want you to think that the problem is the end result. He's not worried so much about did you do the right thing. That's a whole separate instance. What he's worried about is the clarity, right? Sometimes, a broken clock is right twice a day. If you give the proper amount, even if you give too much, if you meet your obligations, even if you exceed your obligations, but you did it totally innate, without any sense of what it was, it just coincidentally that you were the stop clock that happened to hit, right? That's not what we're looking for. As important as it is to give Meiser, it's even more important to understand that Meiser, right, that tzedakah, that chesed, that this mitzvah is a physical manifestation of a deep-seated spiritual principle and a tool that's designed to change the nature of who you are. Which means I have to understand, what does God want from me? You want to understand how to do Torah? You want to understand how to do avoda? You want to understand Gemilas Chesed? What are my obligations? What do I owe to you? Learn it. Be clear on it. Because now I can do it, not just once, not just twice a day, but always. Because the job of a human being is to be clear. Right? I have to have clarity on what life is about. So that's why he says it this way of don't give too much. He doesn't want you to get confused and think that he was afraid of is that you wouldn't hit your obligations. Because there are plenty of guys who hit their obligations without any understanding of what it is or why. He's focusing purely on the service of everything through clarity. Know who you are. Know what God wants from you. That's Rabbi Gamliel.